Hello students, good day. So again, this is teacher Teresa. Another week, another topic. So before we start our new lesson for today, let's have a short review from our last week's lesson. So last week, we discussed about demonstrative pronouns, okay? So there are four kinds or four demonstrative pronouns that we discussed. So that are that, this, these, and those. So if you're asking about a thing, it means only one, a thing that is near to you. Example, what is this? So your answer should be, this is a chair. Okay? That is a thing near to you. How about a thing that is far from you? Example, what is that? What is that? So your answer should be, that is a chair. Okay? So again, that is a chair. Your subject or your object is only one. Now, how about if you're going to ask things? Things, it means more than one. Things that are near to you. Example, what are these? So your answer should be, these are pencils. Okay, pencils with S. It means more than one. Pencils. Now, how about you're going to ask things that are far from you? Example, what are those? What are those? So your answer should be, those are pencils. Okay? So I hope you understand the demonstrative pronouns and how you're going to use them. Now, let's move on. We're still in Unit 2. And this day or today, we're going to discuss about different classes or subjects that we had in school. So, let's start here. Vocabulary part of the Unit 2. But here, we're going to listen and repeat. When you say listen, Fang, repeat, put, duway. Okay, if you're ready, let's start.
Track 2-12. Science. Science. Physical education. Physical education. Mathematics. Mathematics. History. History. Geography. Geography. Social studies. Social studies. English. English. Music. Music. Art. Art. Language arts. Language arts.
Alright, so I hope you're able to repeat all of this vocabulary here. But before we move on to another slide, we're going to translate them in Thai, okay? So first, let's start with geography. Okay, this is the meaning in Thai. Students, if you have your book, please get that one because we're going to need that here in our class today. So please get your English book. So geography, this is the meaning. Please write it down in your book as well. Now, let's move on to mathematics. So this is the meaning in Thai. Next, history. Okay, another meaning in Thai. Next, science. So I think this is Vityasat. Am I right? Now, let's move on to physical education. This is the meaning in Thai. Next, social studies. This is the meaning in Thai. Next, this is English, Wicha Pasaangkrit. Am I right? Next, let's move on to music. This is the meaning in Thai. Next, arts, Wicha Silapa. Am I right? And language arts. This is the meaning in Thai. So please, everything that you can see in the screen, please write it down in your book. Now, let's move on. Let's move on to another slide. Subject or class in Thai is Wicha. Okay? Now, let's move on to exercise number 2. All you need to do here is you need to Write what is the subject or the class that being mentioned in the recording. So look at here in exercise number 1, you can see different classes. So you just need to choose one for each number here. So if you don't know how to answer this one, I'll give you an example.
Track 2-13.
Number 1.
In this class, we use numbers. We learn how to measure and find answers with numbers.
Alright, so number 1, in this subject or in this class, we learn about numbers, okay? Numbers. We learn how to measure and solve everything with numbers. So what do you think is the class or the subject for that one? Okay, so if your answer is mathematics or math, you are correct. Now, this is how you answer exercise number 2, students. And all you need to do is you need to listen this one and continue to answer number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you're ready, let's continue.
Number 2. This is a class about sports and health. We learn how to exercise and play sports. We also learn about how our bodies work. Number 3.
In this class, we learn how to use English. It's important to learn English for school, work, and travel.
Number 4. In this class, we learn about the past. We learn about people and things that happened a long time ago. Number 5.
In this class, we learn how to read and write. We learn about famous writers and how to write our ideas.
Number 6. This is a class about the world. We learn about weather, land, and water in different places.
Okay, so let's continue to answer exercise number 2. So number 2 here is physical education. Okay, next number 3, English. So here in this subject, you learn about the importance of English language. So English is not only inside the classroom, but also you can use that one outside. So if you love to travel around the world, you just need to use the English language, okay? Because English is our universal language. Now, number 4, history. So in this class, you learn about everything about the past, okay? So what happened in the past and the things before we came here in Earth. Okay, next number 5, language arts. And number 6 is geography. So in geography, it's not all about city, country, but also we learn about the weather, the land, and weather, climate, land in each country or continent. Okay, now let's move on to exercise number 3. Here, we need to match the class with the things students learn. So these are the classes and these are the things that students must learn from that class or subject. Okay? So in number 1, music. So which do you think here must a student or things that a student needs to learn in the subject or class music? So if your answer is letter C, how to play songs and listen to them, you are correct. Now let's move on to number 2, social studies. So social studies are about people and how they live and interact together. So if your answer is letter A, okay, this is how people live and work together, you are correct. Now number 3, geography. Geography again about the land and weather. So it is letter D. Now number 4, science. Science is everything around here that is all about living things. Okay, so science is how plants and animals live. And number 5, art. This is how to make things such as paintings. Okay, now students, if you have your book, please copy or write everything that you can see in the screen. And let's move on to this exercise. So we are already in exercise number 4, and it says here, look at the picture and read the sentences. Circle true if it's correct, false if it is not correct. Okay? Now, look at number 1. Picture number 1. What can you see inside the picture? So, there are students and a teacher. So, what are they doing? So, most of the students are writing something in their notebook. Now, the sentence here says, I need a notebook for English class. Again, I need a notebook for English class. Is it true or false? So if your answer is true, you are correct. Next, number 2. Look at this picture. You can see here a little girl, writing something in her notebook with a pen. Okay? Now, the sentence here says, she doesn't need pencils for math class. Again, she doesn't need pencils for math class. Is it true or false? Okay? Who doesn't need a pencil in math class? Everyone needs a pencil for that. So the answer for this one is false. Okay, next, number 3. What can you see in the picture? So here, there is a pen. That this is not a pencil, this is a pen. And a big X mark for this one. So it says here, you don't need a pen for physical education class. Again, you don't need a pen for physical education class. Is it true or false? So if your answer is true, you are correct. Next, number 4. Look at this one. There's a lot of books here. And the sentence says, we need this for language arts class. Again, we need this for language arts class. So if your answer is true, you are correct. Now, please copy everything that you can see in your screen, and let's move on to this one. Okay, so we are already in exercise number 5. Here, you need to look at the table. So this is the table, and you need to listen and repeat. Okay, again, listen, pang, repeat, put, duay. If you're ready, let's listen.
Track 2-14. I need a notebook for math class. You need a notebook for math class.
I don't need a notebook for PE class. You don't need a notebook for PE class.
He needs a notebook for math class. She needs a notebook for math class.
He doesn't need a notebook for PE class. She doesn't need a notebook for PE class.
We need a notebook for math class. They need a notebook for math class.
We don't need a notebook for PE class. They don't need a notebook for PE class.
Alright, so I hope you listen and also repeat what you can hear in the recording. So before we answer exercise number 6, let's have a short discussion here about positive and negative, and when are you going to use the needs, and don't need and doesn't need. Okay, so positive is or need. Okay, need is translated like this in Thai, and negative, which is don't need or doesn't need, this is the meaning in Thai. Now, students, remember, if your subject are I, you, we, and they, that's the time we're going to use need, okay? Need. Now, if your subject is he or she, that's the time we're going to use the word needs with S, okay? You just add S here. Why? Why is it teacher? Because he and she are singular subject. Again, he and she are singular subject. So you're going to just need add letter S or needs for that. Okay? Now, how about negative? When you say negative, you just add the word don't and doesn't. Okay? Now, if your subject are I, you, we, and they, that's the time you're going to use the word don't need. Okay? Don't need. Now, if your subject is he and she, that's the time we're going to use doesn't need. Again, doesn't need. So, he and she are singular subject, while we and they are plural subject. Do you understand that one? Now, for you to understand it better, let's answer exercise number 6. It says here, fill in the blanks with need or needs, don't or doesn't. Okay? Now, number 1, we, that is our subject. We blank pencils and paper for art class. So what do you think is your answer? Need without S or needs with S? So if your answer is need without S, you are correct. Next, number 3. You. Again, this is our subject, you. Blank need a ruler for music class. Do you need a ruler for music class? No. So if your answer should be don't or doesn't. So if your answer is don't need, you are correct. Next, number 5. They blank notebook. So our subject here is the word they. Okay? They. Look at here. Look at the table here. So what do you think is the answer for this one? Need without S or needs with S? Okay? So if your answer is need without S, you are correct. Next, number 2. He. This is our subject. He. Blank need a folder for PE class. Do you need a folder for PE class? Yes or no? So if your answer is no, which one we will going to put here? Don't need or doesn't need? So if your answer is doesn't need, you are correct. Next, number 4. She. Okay? She is our subject here. Blank erasers for social studies class. Do you need erasers for your social studies class? If your answer is yes, which do you think is the answer? Need or needs? So if your answer is needs with S, you are correct. Now, number or exercise number 6, I. Okay, this is our subject, I. Blank need a pen for PE class. Do you need a pen for PE class? If your answer is no, so which one is the correct answer? Don't need or doesn't need? So if your answer, okay, look at the table here. If your answer is don't need, you are correct. Again, students, please write everything that you can see in the screen on your book. Now, let's move on to this one. All right, so exercise number 7 is your homework, okay? So all you need to do is you need to read the paragraph here. I think this is not a paragraph. This is the conversation between Paul. This is Paul and Lauren. Now, what you're going to do is you need to fill in the blanks, the correct things that they need for each classes. So if you don't know how to do that, let's answer number 1 first. But before that, let's read here what Paul said about this one. Today, I am shopping for my school supplies. I need a few things. I need pencils and paper for art class. I need folders for music class. I need a map for geography. So I'm going with my mom to the mall after school. Let's meet after. How about we meet at the park at 4:30? See you later. Okay, so number 1. For music class, Paul needs what? So you look at the music class here, music class. So I need folders. So you just need to write folders. Do you understand me? Okay. So if you're able to understand that one, I think you can answer 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? You just need to write them in your notebook. Okay? So I think that's all for today, students, and I hope you learned something from me today. But before that one, let me review first. Okay? Let's have a wrap up first here. So today we discussed about subject or classes that we had in school. Okay, so there's a lot of different classes that we had and how to use the needs, don't need, doesn't need in proper way. Okay, so again, this is teacher Teresa. Please be safe and keep healthy, students. Let's meet each other next week. Bye for now.